a good afternoon once again. And let me just say how good it feels to be back here. I mean, Joyce, look at me. You're actually flesh and blood and whatever you want to call it next to me.
Yeah, last time was SME Africa.
Yeah, it was. Oh my God, how time flies. Thank God for Skype, Zoom, whatever you want to call it. But thank God for all these online platforms. Honey, it's that I do what I preach.
That's a good way to put it.
That's a good way to market myself. Listen to me. No, but honestly, it's balance, and so do you, Joyce. It's good to be back.
Oh, that's so good. We're happy to have you back.
And especially, I mean, it's been a while. I'm just so overwhelmed to be back in the studio. I know all of you are listening right now. This is Carla Shidiak, and I will be your health coach for the next half hour here on the Health Station, only on Nigeria Info. All right, so we have spoken a lot about, your responsibility towards your health in the last shows.
Mm-hmm.
And this one isn't any different. I mean, the topic today is, sorry, I'm still out of breath because I was rushing into the studio.
That's why.
So the topic of the day is that you are what you eat, and we will be opening the lines. I can already see some people sending their comments, trying to call. Keep on doing that. Hang in there. We will be opening the line soon, 0700-993-993-993. But in the next few minutes, because I need to give you some of my feedback before I get some of yours. So for now, I really want you to sit back and reflect on what I am about to tell you. That includes you, Joyce, and listen to that. Okay?
Okay.
Nothing in this world, and honestly, and I'm sure you agree with me, nothing in this world created by man compares to the magnificent design of the human body and of your body, of course. So as you're listening to me right now, bear in mind that 2.5 million red blood cells are being made every second within your bone marrow to keep your body cells supplied with oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, today, by the end of the day, actually, you've already started,
Yeah.
you will be producing around 9.5 liters of digestive juice. That's around 6 large bottles of water.
How does
6
that
large
happen?
bottles. Imagine, to break down the food you eat and enable it to pass through your gastrointestinal
How
tract.
many glasses of water is that?
That's, sorry, not glasses. We're talking about large bottles, 6 large bottles.
Wow.
And I call your gastrointestinal tract, of course, your inside skin, because it protects you from the inside. There's a layer before the food is absorbed. And that's around 9 meters long. Sorry, not 9 meters long. A 9-meter long tract with a surface area of almost a football field. Your small intestine being a tennis court field. So you can just have an idea of what your body is actually doing. And I'm not just stopping there. The health of your gastrointestinal tract is maintained by a team of more than 300 different strains of bacteria and other microorganisms. As unique as your fingerprint, we all have a different balance of these bacteria in our intestine. And these are more numerous than the total amount of cells in your body. Imagine that. So, meanwhile, your immune system, I'm really trying to make you realize how amazing your body is. And there's a reason behind that. Your immune system is replacing its entire army every week. And when under attack by a virus or any other germ, it has the capacity to produce 200,000 new immune cells every minute. Even your outside skin, the skin that we all touch, is replaced every month, while most of your body is renewed in a period of 7 years, every 7 years. Let's not forget your brain, of course. This thing weighs around, let's say, 1.4 kilos, which is 3 pounds, and it consists of mainly fat and water, which is, of course, it's processing so much complex, immense complexity, so much complex information in its trillion nerve cells. We're talking about trillion nerve cells, and they're all connected to tens of thousands of other nerve cells and networks. And the connections, of course, are formed as your life goes on, as you see it, every day. I mean, in fact, the time you finish listening to me in this show, you would have already hardwired around 30 new connections between your brain cells just by listening to me right now in the next 30 minutes.
Does that happen every time we listen to you
every
day?
Your brain, every day, every 30
okay.
minutes, you're hardwiring around maybe because you're listening to me, you might be hardwiring more, I don't know. That would be great. But I don't think I'm that special. I would love to be that special.
Okay.
Anyway, so now you see, okay, these are all really unseen processes that happened within us. And we never really get to sit and think, wow, that's actually happening right now. All these things are happening right now. And this is all behind the scene action. It's all under the table work that your body is undergoing every single minute of your life. And we tend to undermine that. And the energy, of course, that's produced from a small amount of food you take in compared to the amount of work that's being done, with plenty of that energy left, of course, to keep you warm or to help you do more physical activities. And of course, I mean, these processes produce, as we all know, water, carbon dioxide that comes out when you're breathing. And they're both, of course, essential to plants that are essential to us because they provide us with oxygen. So it's really, really, really a very complex organism that we have, and we tend to overestimate it, or actually, no, underestimate it. Sorry, that was the word. We tend to think, you know, I'm not feeling anything, so my body's fine. But this is how amazing the design and the capacity of your body is. It's awesome. And let us remind ourselves that we're not perfect. We do have our kryptonite, as they say. You know, unlike when you buy yourself a new car, it arrives with, you know, a maintenance manual and spare parts. Our body is not like that. We must rely on the instructions of healthcare providers who have studied the human body, and most of the time sick human bodies. And unfortunately, many of these instructions are still being reassessed if you consider, you know, how much medicine is having bad side effects on our health, radiation when it comes to cancer, chemicals that we're taking in, surgery that removes defective parts. There's a lot to learn. And I really want you to think about your body's ability to handle things when something goes wrong. How does it maintain all these amazing complex functions despite what it is exposed to? How does your body adapt to all that? And what's actually happening inside you? Have you ever thought of that? So because of your incredible resilience, the most serious diseases, you know, your body's so resilient that the most serious diseases like cancer or cardiovascular symptoms, they may take 20 to 30 years to actually develop. And the problem is, by the time you notice these symptoms, it may already be too late. So your body is in constant adaptation to the changing environment, whether it's within your body or outside. And by doing so for over millions of years, it has learned to adapt. So what's the greatest motivator for your body's learning capacities to adapt? It's experience. Your body has a way of reacting towards what's good for it and what's bad for it. Let me give you an example. If there's something you eat, which is very basic, you know, do this with a kid and you can see that. If there's something you eat that makes you feel good, you're most likely to continue eating it. And if there's something bad that makes you feel bad, or it might not be bad, but it makes you feel bad, you're most likely to stop, unless you have become addicted to it. So sometimes bad behavior is behavior that you can be addicted to despite how bad it is to your body. And this is where your learning experience comes from. And in order to learn from that experience, you must understand how your body reacts and why it reacts the way that it does. So there's something I want to share today, Joyce, and it's something called the General Adaptation Syndrome. And it's just what it says, okay? It's this long-term delayed effect of your lifestyle or your eating habits and what it has on your body. Okay, and this is, I'm going to give you this typical example. I mean, you can apply this to many stressors, cigarettes, types of food, specifically sugar, people get very addicted to, stress, extreme cases of physical activities. People can be addicted to a lot of physical activity, and this might backfire on the body as well. But I'm going to give you a simple example. I'm going to give you the different stages of this general adaptation syndrome. And we're going to continue, of course, opening the line soon once I'm done with giving you the steps. And I want you to think and relate. Is this happening to you? Think of
yeah,
something.
It's happening.
We already have a yay here in the
Yeah,
studio.
it's happening.
I mean, I'm sure you're going to be able to relate with that. I want you to think. Your first response to any event or substance is always the first indicator whether it is good or bad for you. And we call that the initial response. Have you ever smoked before, Joyce?
Tried it. A friend made me try it.
Okay, how was your first reaction?
I didn't care for it. I didn't.
Yeah, but were you able to inhale the smoke properly?
I have no skills. Yeah, I inhaled it, but it wasn't proper.
Did you cough? Did you feel
I didn't cough.
Okay, you're not normal then.
No, I didn't cough. Maybe.
I mean, usually the first reaction when you take a first puff, you're
Yeah.
not inhaling it properly. You might cough.
Okay.
You might say,
I didn't
it
cough.
sounds.
Maybe I'm pro
Or
backwards.
your first drink of alcohol, you're like, or your first coffee without sugar, you're like, oh,
Yes.
you know, there's
yes.
always.
Yes, that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that initial reaction is the best indicator. So I want you to think about your first cigarette, your black unsweetened coffee, the first one you ever had, your first sip of alcohol. You might have forgotten about these. But obviously, we've all been there. And this is our first blah response, I call it. Okay, that's the initial response. And that is most of the time the response you need to listen to. If your body is not taking it from the first time, there's something wrong. Now, the second stage is basically adaptation. Okay, your body learns to adapt quickly. That's how amazing it is. And the cells, for instance, if you're a smoker, the cells in your lungs will change form to protect themselves from the smoke. If you're eating a diet that's very high in bad fats, there might be plaque that can develop. It's like layers of fat that can develop in your arteries to repair some damaged tissue due to a pro-inflammatory diet. So there are many things happening behind the scenes, but you feel them. You see them happening. You don't. So your new habit is affecting your health. Your body is trying to project itself and protect itself, and in doing so, it is in an unseen state of stress that you don't realize you're in. Definitely.
I was waiting for you to finish because I also want to reference what you're saying
ahead.
to the topic today.
Yeah.
Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Which is because you keep repeating the term habit.
Yes.
And it's so interesting to know that repetitive mental work or repetitive human habits, as you put it, can affect us positively or negatively. Our health can be better by our habits. Our health can be worse by our habits. And that is what really is society.
Definitely.
Society becomes better by our habits. Society becomes
Definitely.
worse by our habits.
Definitely.
And you talking about biology, it's amazing how the network of the human food chain works. Like everything
Definitely.
affects everything else.
Definitely. And this is where we are when we say we are what we eat. Your habits, when I say what you eat, it's not necessarily what goes into your mind, in your mouth,
Mouth.
It's what your body receives, whether it's food, whether it's the environmental stressors, whatever it is your body is going through.
Exactly.
This is exactly what the topic is about today. And we had many people giving comments. I have a caller called Rose who actually a follower who commented that this is very true. She realizes that when she's not eating properly, her body transforms completely into she's being very lethargic and she has no energy. And when she's back to eating healthy, she feels much better. So the third step is exhaustion. So you keep on doing this. Let's say the cigarette. You keep on smoking that cigarette from 1 cigarette to 2 to 10 to 20. Then you get to a pack. Then you keep on continuing. So you continue to insult your body for long enough. And one day you're sick and your energy is gone and your digestive system is not functioning properly, for instance, or your blood
Insult, you
pressure
call
is
it?
raised.
You call it insult?
Yeah, I call this an insult to the body.
Oh, that's
definitely.
good.
Definitely
Oh,
it is.
that's
And
good.
we tend to say, no, we're fine. I mean, look, people who have lived 100 years were big smokers. But then think of what other things they were doing. Maybe
They
they were eating better
They
than
ate
you
a lot
were. They
better.
were in a better environment than you were. So you can't say this case, okay, it applies to me.
I like the fact
So
you said insult.
Your body
actually.
simply cannot cope or adapt anymore. This is a stage people usually find themselves in where they seek help, professional help, all right? So then you have the recovery phase, okay? This is when you start deciding, okay, there's something wrong, there's something I need to change, okay? For your body to recover, you need to restrict the intake of a specific substance. And here we're talking about the cigarette. So when you're doing that, you really, and for all of you listening right now, you might say, okay, I'm not a smoker. Give me more examples. I want you to ask yourself this question. And I want you actually to complete this sentence, Joyce, you included. I can give up anything, but not my...
Coffee.
There we go. You're addicted to coffee.
Well, I have an argument for that. I'm not addicted. I just love it.
Then you're not addicted. Can you
No.
stay a whole, month without your coffee?
Yes.
then you're not addicted to coffee. You're very lucky. That's something else. We're talking about really
But
something
if I stay
you
one-
can never stay without.
Butter.
Butter.
Yeah.
So you cannot stay a whole month without butter.
What am I going to eat my eggs with? Butter.
And that's the weirdest
Yeah.
completion of sentence I've ever
Yeah,
heard.
because I would have thought it was coffee because
Yeah.
I'm if I stay 1 month without coffee, I'm looking at the seller's number on my phone. I'm probably just detoxing for a month, but I'm guessing like that's a guarantee.
Yeah.
But then I eat my eggs with butter. So I fry my eggs with butter. So
You know what? Let's put this on trial here.
okay.
I want you to try stopping butter for a month and tell us what your body is going through when you do that.
Carla,
If your body doesn't
why
go
am
through
I the
anything,
experiment?
let me tell you, because your butter thing, it really intrigues me. I mean, let me put it this way. Usually it's something that is a stressor. It could be cigarette, it could be sweets, sweet food, it could be shisha, it could be alcohol, it could be sometimes physical activity as well if you really intensely exercise.
Okay, let's
Okay.
ask your callers because
I will, but let me just give them one more
Okay.
stage, and I promise I'll be taking calls. So once you're doing this recovery, you really have to go cold turkey and restrict yourself with whatever habit it is you've been addicted to. And of course, you supplement with vitamins and minerals to help your body deal with that. And most of the time, you will realize you have to get so bad before you get better. And this is the
you're talking
recovery
about
phase.
addiction.
So
Yeah.
when you stop smoking, for instance, you get very fidgety, you have headaches, or many people who stop sugar, they realize they feel
Withdrawals
so
even.
lethargic,
Yeah.
tired, headaches, they can't get up of bed for 2-3 days. Give it time, 2-3 days, and after that, they feel amazing. You have
Yeah.
to feel bad before getting better. And the worse you feel, the more it shows how strong your addiction was. And then once you're there, your body's back to being on the way to becoming healthier. And with time, but we're talking about this effect takes sometimes a year. We're not saying this is going to be done in a week.
I don't have
This
an
is the
addiction if that's
long-term
the
effect.
case.
Exactly.
I don't have an
I
addiction.
don't think I do either.
No, I don't
because
have an
I can
addiction
easily
if that's
be
the
off
case.
anything. So you don't have an addiction.
No, I don't have an addiction.
So this is it. So once your body has recovered, it's back to being healthy, and it might take years. Once again, when you're recovering, it might take a lot of time. And by the way, because you've improved your body and your lifestyle, you might become more hypersensitive than you were before. So you might be reacting to many other things you never reacted towards before, which if you had stopped them as well. So
Yeah.
let's say you stopped cigarettes for a whole few years and you start again, or you stopped sugar or coffee, and once you reintroduce it, your reaction might be as strong, if not stronger, than your initial reaction back then
I
when
agree.
you had started.
I agree. I agree.
So that's a sign, and your body telling you, hey, where are you going with that?
Yeah.
You've learned enough, you've suffered enough. I think it's about time you stop.
Yeah.
So listen to your body. It has amazing indicators, and it's really, you are what you eat. Whatever you take in, whatever you give your body, it is going to come out. It is going to manifest itself, whether it's inside you or outside you. I am going to take more calls, although I have much more to
Let me
share.
suggest something, Carla.
Yes.
First of all, I think you delivered this in record time.
Yeah.
But two things. I want you to treat this topic again. Why? let me tell
Yeah.
you why. Because this topic is quite fundamental to the human reality. What humans eat every day. Now you have just a few more minutes.
Yeah, I just realized
You're
maybe
gonna-
we can make a
the
sequel
next
week.
time, the next time you treat it, then you pretty much, I mean, people already have heard you talk about
Yes.
it. Then you can pretty much interact with the people, because now I know that a lot of people have addiction, whether it's bread, rice.
Why is it bread? Why
carbs.
do you think it's bread?
Is the quickest thing to get.
It's because bread most of the time has sugar in it, depending on the type of bread.
Good, Carla.
And gluten,
It's addictive.
or let me just say wheat.
Yeah.
All right, wheat, and that's where I come in with the list of the list of foods that can make you addicted. I'm talking about chemicals that commonly cause reactions. You've got
Sugar.
wheat and other grains. There are other grains, but wheat is very common. Milk and dairy products. Imagine that. Chocolate, sugar, coffee, including decaf.
Oh, really?
Decaffeinated coffee contains a chemical called theobromine, and theobromine has approximately the same effects as caffeine. This is why when you say, I'm fine, I'm not taking any caffeine in, I'm not saying coffee is bad. Once again, I have coffee once a day and I can
You're
stop
good.
it. Is as long as you can stop something easily, then you're good. But then again, it's been shown that coffee also has helped a lot of patients with liver problems. But then again, I'm not telling you to start drinking a lot of coffee because
Yeah.
I just said that,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But everything in moderation once again. So coffee is one of them, even decaf, tea, food additives. You've got a lot of these out there. Alcohol, yeast-based alcohol. So we're talking beer, we're talking wine, not champagne. So for those of you who want to party all weekend, you can still do that. Additives in alcohol, cigarettes, shisha. I've seen a lot of shisha addiction. I mean, it's amazing how it's been infiltrated, this whole shisha lifestyle, into the Nigerian society. This wasn't there before.
It wasn't there before.
Yeah, fumes, vehicle exhaust, gas fires, grass pollens. Well, you don't have much grass here, so there's nothing to worry about in there. Yeasts in bread and processed food. So
yeast in bread, yes.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
I was
Someone told me one time that she was addicted to yeast, and I thought it was weird.
And maybe you don't think you're addicted, but once you stop having your bread and whatever does contain yeast like fermented food as well, you will realize you have headaches, or you will then feel less bloated. It depends on your withdrawal, but definitely these are the prime suspects. So I don't think we are going to be taking any calls
Carla,
today.
that was some load you brought.
We will be reopening the lines all throughout the show next week.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean,
we'll do that.
You first recap, and then we'll open up telephone line. Let people share their experiences with you. That was something. Thanks
for listening, you guys out there. I will leave you with Joyce again.
I think it's interesting. 30 minutes went away.
Well, it always does. It always does. It's amazing. Never enough time. I keep on saying that. Never enough time. I hope they're listening.
Yeah, they are.
All right. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. Joyce, I'll see you next Friday.
Thank you, Carla. We'll see Carla again next Friday, same time. Don't miss it. And yes, you can talk about your addictions with her. Hopefully, through dialogue and understanding, you can understand best ways by which you can manage, and where possible and as can be proven to be necessary, you reduce your addiction. You have been wonderful. Thank you for playing my game today. The sun sets here. My name is Joyce. See you Monday on the sunny side. Have a brilliant weekend. Love your neighbor as you'd love to be loved in return. Bye-bye. Carla, you have something for me? No. See you guys later. Have a beautiful weekend. Bye-bye.